Greetings. This is the Grumpy Old Slan, and joining me as always is the Intellectual Quandary. How are you, my friend?
Greetings, Slan. I'm good. How are you? Oops, sorry
I'm
for the
fine.
background noise there.
Yeah, I'm fine. I had a good weekend at a local convention that I enjoy a lot. And I have more
Oh,
books now because, of course, I do. Um,
very fancy.
yeah. Uh, so we have another game. This one's a bit less of a maze and a more of a choose your own adventure type scenario, but I'm hoping it's going to prove to be interesting. There is a map of sort, and you can see it on the screen. And this one's a panorama, so let's just scroll and scroll and scroll across the landscape. So in the original magazine, this was like maybe the top third of four different pages, which I stitched together into one long image. All
Ooh.
right. And let's discover what's what and read the introduction to start with. So this is called the Simorgh. Apparently, a Simorgh is a mythical bird in Middle Eastern mythology, so which I'd never heard of before. This bucolic scenery hides mysterious characters. Strange events occur here, but risky or not, you still must accomplish your mission. Inspired by the Christian Charrière novel De Simorgh, in this game you play Jérôme de Vienne, the hero of this fantastic adventure, and must act according to your destiny. I'll be honest, I never even heard of this writer or this
Right.
book.
Okay.
I did a bit of research, and he's less of a fantasy writer and more one of those, you know, new age spiritual type
Oh, the woo-woo
person.
weirdos.
Yeah, we were weirdo. Very good description. That's the impression I got from reading the Wikipedia page and a bit of a rundown of what his books were about.
Sure.
So we'll see. Who you
Yeah.
are? You are Jérôme de Vienne, a shipping clerk living in an apartment in Marseille. Your small income is not quite enough to pay your mother's doctor's bill. What you must do. One day in 1870, your notary tells you he has found a buyer for Aigle Roche, your deceased father's house in the high countries near the base of Mount Paraclet. Uh, 8 years after your departure, you are now going back to the ancestral home in order to retrieve some old letters and papers before handing the key over to the new owners. This is what you
Okay.
know. The High Countries have long been a privileged place for sculptors. The famous rock of Saint Jean was ideal for their work, but it has lost some of its qualities, and artists have abandoned the Bois des Chevaliers, whose trees were carved into living statues of famous warriors. The top of Mount Paraclet remains untrodden by human feet. Many are those who attempted to climb, and many are the victims of the mountain. Antonin de Vienne, your father, was among them. He
Hmm.
often talked of the mountain and its mysterious rings, the ring bolts for a legendary dock where unknown vessels could be moored. On the island of Saint Jean is a community of positivists firmly convinced that mankind will discover the ultimate explanation for all phenomena. Certainty your father, a Rosicrucian mystic, did not share. So you can see a bit of the woo-woo coming through here. So the game, uh, before anything else, have pencil and paper handy in order to write down the notes you have read, because sometimes they'll say if you have read such and such a note, right? Each note will describe a scene and offers some actions you may take. Letters A through K indicate places in the drawing above. characters are indicated by two letters. So I sort of skipped the whole two letters for characters because that would have gotten too confusing. And when I translated, I just inserted the characters' names. So
Sure.
we can ignore that last sentence. So the places, first we have A here, the Bois des Chevaliers. So with its carved trees and where nature has taken back control.
Sorry,
And
all I can think of when I hear that
yeah.
is Baird playing Perrin going, oui, chevalier.
Oh yes. Oui, chevalier. B is the Sculptor's Inn, where four garbed statues represent musicians playing their instruments. I think I'm hearing some weird noises. I don't know if that's me or it's gone.
Sorry,
Okay.
my mic's playing up again. There we go. Should
Okay.
be all right.
Okay. So this is B, the Sculptor's Inn. We then have, they didn't place these all together. Okay. Here is D, this building here. This is Aigle Roche, your ancestral home and a residence of Antonin de Vienne, where you used to live as a child. Oh, no, wait. That's D. D is not that. C is Aigle Roche. Where is Aigle? This is your ancestral home here. And back here, D is the Folie Morin, the residence of Emilienne Anaïs Morin, mother of Martha Servoz.
Okay.
Here, this tree is the enclosure of love, a hollow tree you remember well from your teenage years.
Huh.
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 Yeah. And back here, F, we have a dock. A ferry goes from Saint Jean Island, which is I here, um, to the high country. So you have a ferry from this dock to the island here. H, where is H? Yeah, here, H. Uh, this is the workshop of Anselme, the last active sculptor in the area. I is the Saint Jean Island on the Blue Lake where the positivists gather.
Okay.
Finally, way at the right-hand side, we have J is the oratory of the Pierre Froide Circus. So there's a building here. It might be a bit hard to see, but there's an oratory here. And K is the top of Paraclet Mountain, where, according to legend, the ring bolts of a dock for unknown vessels are. So, and there's a cast of characters. We have Anselme, the last of the old sculptors, distressed by the loss of quality of the local stone. We have Augusta, who's the inn's maid. We have Sébastien Servoz, the mayor of Saint Jean Island and the husband of Martha. Martha Servoz is your childhood friend, and she's now married to Sebastian, and she is the daughter
Okay.
of Emilienne Anaïs. Emilienne Anaïs Morin is the mother of Martha and subject to occasional bouts of insanity.
Oh,
Another,
she's played too much Call of Cthulhu.
yeah, exactly. Next, we have Lord Gregory Carrington, a mountain climber of repute who knew your father. We have Anna Schmidt, who is the fiancée of Lord Gregory. We have Ferdinand Cucuballin, who is the reporter. And we have Rollman Mersin, an enigmatic visionary from Alsace who knew your father. So I'm going to keep this list of characters handy so that when we encounter them, I can remind everyone of who's who, because it might be a little bit difficult to track
Yeah, oui, s'il
everything.
vous plaît. Because I'm definitely not going to remember all of
Yeah,
these things.
exactly. I have a hard time remembering characters too. So, okay. So we start at A. As we enter the area. And our first, oh wait, what the, let me check something here.
I mean, so far, I have to say, we haven't started yet, but it seems quite different to the usual fare.
It is. And they do say that what we're playing is essentially the opening of the novel. So they didn't try to get, where is C? C is over here. So yeah, you go to C, your ancestral home, read note 100. Uh, Arriving in C, you enter. The reposé, your deceased father's lounge, seems to call to you. If you go to the room to get, you can go to his room to get the letters that you're supposed to pick up. Go to 55. If you go to the reposé, go to 82.
No, let's go get these letters.
Okay. 55. You're now in your father's room, which has wood-paneled walls. You find a document folder behind a mirror. Uh, so now we have the documents, I guess. You may now go to the reposé, read 20 front, or you can leave C altogether.
No, let's go to the reposé.
Okay, let's go to the reposé. 23. Ooh. On the ceiling, the chandelier shakes in spite of the absence of wind.
Uh-oh.
Uh, if you have read 121, go to 33, otherwise go to 16. And we have
Okay.
not read 121, so let's go to 16. Uh, Read 160. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, okay. Suddenly you hear some heavy knocks against the shutters. Do you open them? If you open them, go to 30, otherwise go to 66.
Yeah, let's open them.
Okay. Okay. Bizarrely, it says he has. Wait, I said 33, right? Yeah. You see a gigantic bird as it takes off. The tip of its wing brushes your forehead. Your hand reaches for a bowl. Go to 140. You see a feather. Read 199. Wait, that can't be. There is no 199. I think it's
What?
maybe. Let me double check if I
119,
didn't.
perhaps?
Yeah, that's what I'm. So this I'm reading currently. I'm reading 140. Let me just double check. I might have mistyped. 140. No, 119. Yeah, I did mistype. Let me just correct that. Uh, yeah. Yeah, you see a feathers with the colors of an aurora. Go to 66. Um, so we now have those documents and we have that feather.
Okay.
If you read the contents of the file folder, go to 40. If you leave it there, go to 137.
Hey, Nosorian.
Greetings, Nosorian.
No, I want to look in this folder.
Okay, so let us go to 40. Yeah. 40. Night falls. You go to B, where everything is quiet. You see four magnificent statues of griffins. So B is the inn. So I guess because night falls, they
We
send
go to.
you to. Let me just go all the way. This is a bit of a winding path there. Yeah, this is the inn. Okay. So we're at the inn. You see four magnificent statues of griffins. Going in, if you take a simple table, you can go to read 70. If you take a lounge, go to 110.
No, we'll just take a simple table.
Okay, we'll take a simple table. Go to 70. While Augustus serves you, an old man sits next to you. It is Anselm. He nervously plays with a ball of clay and shares his fears with you. Go to 20. Uh, okay. Sébastien Servoz comes in. The innkeeper greets him warmly. He glances at you and asks who you are, and then gives you a dirty look. Following this, he sits down in his lounge, looking very satisfied with himself.
Ah, I knew he was going to own a lounge or get a lounge. The
Yeah,
fucking prick.
yeah. And bizarrely, doesn't send us anywhere else. Did I screw something up again? So that was 20. Yeah, go to 118. So we read 118. Suddenly, a stone detaches from the ceiling and falls. Sebastien Savos barely avoids it. You barely catch a glimpse of the departure of a mysterious man. At this point, Lord Gregory Carrington, Anna Schmidt, and Ferdinand and others sit at a table. Go to 52. It's much more narrative.
Yeah.
Lord Gregory finds out who you are and comes to talk with you about your father, but he has to leave to climb K with some friends. Anna Schmidt and Ferdinand stay behind. Go to 90. Lord Gregory says goodbye to everyone. Sebastien Servoz has disappeared. You feel Lord Gregory is acting weirdly as you see him disassemble the door handle of a shed outside and
What?
then leave the inn with his expedition. If you go with him, go to 106. Otherwise, read 21.
This is less of a choose your own adventure book and more of a book that you're in.
Yeah, I know.
But I want to follow. I want to go to the expedition.
Okay, 106. Uh, okay, it is now night. Uh, the expedition took the road towards I. Um, you, sorry, I'm a bit confused here. Am I reading the right thing? Yeah. After exchanging a few words with Lord Carrington, you're in front of C and you leave them. If you have read 33, which I don't think we have. Oh, yes, we have
Oh,
read 33. Go to 63.
oh no, Slan! He disassembled the door handle to my shed. I'm stuck.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, can't leave. Um, and so you see the group depart, and from afar, Lord Gregory Carrington yells out, "By the feather, you will triumph over the..." And you don't hear the end of it. Go to
Oh,
38. Yeah. Um, as you go towards your father's house, you see Anselm running after the expedition. Do you intercept him? Go to 61. If you let him go, go to 85. So Anselm is that old sculptor guy.
let him go.
Let him go. Go to 85. You go into C. Here, let me just move back so we know where we are. It's this panorama is kind of, it looks nice, but it's a bit of a pain to deal with as a maze. Okay. Uh, yeah. Your father, okay. Going into C, you realize your father's room is a mess. The bookcase's content is strewn on the floor. Clearly, someone searched the room. Through a window, you spot Romain Mersin fleeing. It is impossible to catch up to him. If you've read 137, which we haven't, go to
Okay.
74, otherwise go to 69.
Nice.
Okay, 69. Suddenly you hear some heavy knocks against the door. It is Anselm who asks for shelter. Uh, do you open the door? Go to 42. If you ignore him, go to 130.
Yeah, open the door.
Okay, let us go to 42. He comes in distraught. The expedition refused his presence. If you have read 61, which we haven't, go to 14. Otherwise, go to 123.
Okay.
Uh, wait. Da, da, da. Okay, that doesn't seem to follow. Let me double check again. I'm sorry. This one was really hard to translate actually. 42. Yeah, oh, go to 125. Had to zoom in to see that one. Okay, 125. Tomorrow you will go to H. H is the Anselm's house, and you will understand my fears when you see the stone statue. Read, if read 29. Yeah, it'll be enough to change your bone marrow into carrot juice, which is something he apparently says a lot. And then 94. Uh, you then go to sleep, each one in his own room. Go to 41.
Sure.
Your dreams are interrupted by loud knocks at the door. Through the window, you see Martha Servos. She is looking for Sebastian, her husband. Do you open the door? If you open the door, go to 26. If you tell her you don't know where he is, go to 75.
Let's open the door.
Okay. Martha says that worrisome noises can be heard in the basement of D. As a reminder, D is the residence of her mom, Emiliana Nais. There are rats, maybe. Her mother is panicking. Do you go to D to help them? Read 102. If you reassure Martha and send her back, go to 75.
Sorry, I missed those choices. I got a spike of pain. What did you say?
Yeah, no problem. If you go to D, which is the mom's house, to help them, you read 102, or you can reassure Martha and send her back home. Go to 75.
No, the first one.
The first one, go there and help her out. Okay, so we travel along the path to D, right here. Emiliana Nais is perfectly still. You see a hideous stone gargoyle on the chimney. Martha brings you to the cellar, which is effectively noisy. If you have read 33, go to 45. Otherwise, go to 98. And we have read 33.
Okay.
So let us go to 45. Removing your vest, the feather you'd kept falls at the bottom of the cellar. The noises stop. You see an open gap in the wall and a paw print. Nothing else. Do you take if you take the feather and go back up, go to 114.
Feather.
If okay. So 114. Going back up, you see a feather has replaced the stone gargoyle. Martha doesn't understand, while Emiliana Naïs confirms the hideous apparition, but Martha thanks you and goes to see. Go to 75.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You go back home and to bed. If you have read 130, which we haven't, go to 24. Otherwise, 113. Okay, sorry, I just need to find 113.
It's okay.
Ah. You hear some loud knocking from Anselm's room. If you intervene, go to 156. If you ignore it and go back to sleep, go to 24.
No, let's intervene.
Let's intervene. Okay, 156. Anselm screams. You go in. He's on the bed. If you have read 33, which we
We have.
go to 32. You hear a sound of stones falling behind you, then everything is quiet. Read 153. Oh, it's just confirming our Father. If you have read 153, yeah. Okay. 153 is where your father's room is a mess. The bookcase's content is strewn on the floor. Clearly, someone searched the room. Anselm claims that he saw a stone griffin. If you, yeah, you go back to sleep. If you have read 173, go to 168. Otherwise, go to 71. We have not read 173, so we go to
Okay.
71, which is telling us to read 143, telling us it is now day. Read 173. So we had to wait till the daytime.
Okay.
The folder with the documents in them has disappeared, but it probably wasn't all that important.
What?
And that means that we failed our mission, and that's the end.
Oh, fuck off!
Fuck.
Damn it!
Yeah. So not a death, but a lack of success,
Fail.
shall we say. Yeah,
Fuck.
fail. Yeah. And on top of that, you're trapped in your shed. I was actually thinking of you when I was translating that because I was there like, oh yeah, okay.
Hey, well, stereotypes exist for a reason, eh?
Yeah. There seems to be a lot more railroading in this one than in
I was
the
gonna
others.
say it's less choices and more. Oh, if this happened, turn there, and then turn there, and then
Yeah,
turn there.
exactly. I think they're trying to get the characters to do what they did,
Yeah,
you know?
which is fine, you know, if it's a
Yeah.
book, but not if it's a
Yeah.
choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
It's like when we were doing that choose your own adventure like starter for Pendragon, and it's like,
Yes.
you know, we all know that King Arthur's the one. Oh, well, at the time, Arthur's the one who pulls the sword from the stone, right?
Yeah.
But it gives us the choice of doing it, but we
Yeah.
know what's supposed to happen.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's yeah, and apparently this is just like the first chapter, like where the main character of the book that you're playing the Etienne. Is it Etienne? I forgot his name already. Jérôme, sorry, Jérôme de Vienne. Um, goes to get those papers, and that like is the start of the novel. Um, yeah, it's not obvious what to do here. It's a lot less. I much prefer the actual mazes or an actual choose
Same.
your own adventure. This has a weird tries to straddle the two somehow, and so
It
far
doesn't really
it's
do either.
yeah, exactly.
What the fuck? Okay.
Because it's hard to go back to the choice, like, oh, let's do this other thing.
Well, Sophie said she was curious about A and about E.
About A?
And E.
Okay. So A is the
So
Bois des
we could try
Chevaliers
again.
with the carved trees. Sure. I think the big problem is that um, there's nothing about um, yeah. You start at note one, which tells you that from A you go to C. You can't just choose where you're going. I think that's the big difference between this and all the other uh, mazes that we've done. You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, okay, so well, note one says from A you go to C, so let's just go to C right away because it's at the other end of here. And you read note 100. Arriving in C, you enter. The reposé, your deceased father's lounge, seems to call to you. If you go to the room to get the letters, go to 55. If you go to the reposé, go to 82.
No, we get the letters again.
Get the letters again? Okay, read 55. Your father's room with wood-paneled walls. We find the document folder behind the mirror. If you go to the reposé, go to 23. If you leave C, go to 66.
Okay, let's leave C.
Okay, going to 66. Um, if you read the content of the file, go to 40. If you leave it there, go to 137.
Let's read it.
Let's read it. Uh, Night falls and you go to B where everything is quiet. You see four
Oh,
magnificent
fuck it.
statues of griffins. If you take a simple table, go to 70. If you take a lounge, go to 110.
Let's take a lounge. Go on.
Yeah, okay. Let me just move so that we know where we're at. So we take a lounge and go to 110. Where's 110? Ah, there it is, right after 109. The innkeeper asks you to change. This lounge is reserved for VIPs. If you insist on staying, go to 81. If you agree to change, go to 70.
Okay, let's agree to change.
Okay, we go to 70. While Augusta serves you, an old man sits next to you. It is Anselme. He nervously plays with a ball of clay and shares his fears with you. Go to 20. I think some of this might have been more effective if we had longer paragraphs rather than being told to read like a sequential number of things. Would feel
Yes.
less railroady.
Yes, I
Um,
agree.
yeah. Sebastien comes in. The innkeeper greets him warmly. He glances he glances at you and asks who you are, and then gives you a dirty look. He sits down proudly in his lounge. Go to 118. Guess it's reserved for him.
Yeah.
Suddenly, a stone detaches from the ceiling and falls. Sebastien barely avoids it. You barely catch a glimpse of the departure of the mysterious man. Then Lord Gregory Carrington, Anna Schmidt, Ferdinand, and others sit at a table. Go to 52. Uh, Lord Gregory finds out who you are and comes to talk with you about your father, but he has to leave to climb K, which is the big mountain, with some friends.
Mhm.
Anna Schmidt and Ferdinand stay behind. Go to 90. Yeah, Lord Gregory says his goodbyes. Sebastien Serval has, in the meanwhile, disappeared. You see Lord Gregory acting weirdly as he disassembles the door handle of a shed and then leaves B
Not
with his
again.
expedition. If you also go to 106. Otherwise, go to 21.
No, let's not go.
Okay, so we go to 21. Uh, Augusta, in distress, rushes out. And you hear her cry, I'm leaving with them. If you leave the inn, go to 87. If you stay, go to 47.
Let's leave the inn.
Let's leave the inn. Okay, go to 87. Okay. It is now night. You see you see Rollman Mersin quickly walking towards B. Going into C, if wait, if you are going into C, read 153. If you've read 137, which we haven't, go to 74. Otherwise, go to 69. So let me just read 153. Oh yeah, this is where we're going into C, and we find our father's room is a mess, and somebody clearly has searched the place.
Hmm.
Yeah, and and it doesn't send you anywhere else, which is the frustrating part here.
It doesn't seem like much is different, even though we've made different choices.
Yeah, I know. It feels way more railroady because of that. So the other thing we could do is just read various entries at random to sort of try to make up, because I have a feeling uh, there are some events that are supposed to happen, but it's hard to, as I translate them, I know, okay, so, at some point a rock will fall from the ceiling or somebody will leave the inn, but how these all connect, I have no idea,
I see what you mean. Yeah.
because they're not in order, right? They're in random things. But if I just go through, this is a frustrating one, I feel. Yeah, it's a bit of a bummer there, no sorry. Um, because the problem is that, you know how all the other mazes, if I would get to a location like C or E, there's an entry for C or E telling me something and then sending me to read a note or telling me nothing happens and I keep going on my way.
Yeah.
But other than a description of what the place is, we don't get that here. So you have to follow the notes. And if the notes don't send you anywhere, That's it. You're finished. And I assume the idea is that if somebody searched the room, you can't find the documents, and therefore you have failed. You know?
Hmm. It seems odd that they would write it that way, though.
Yeah, I know.
Like, if you were going to tell, your reader or adventurer that they had failed, I'm sure you'd want to make it a bit more obvious than
Yeah,
just not
exactly.
writing anything.
Because I wouldn't have skipped, you have failed from the translation. Let me. Yeah, no, there's nothing. It's just like the entry as I read it in the original too.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So clearly, like, uh,
There's all these other locations that we haven't been to, but it doesn't look
yeah,
like it's giving us any chance to go to those
yeah.
places.
So far, we haven't found the path for it, and this is kind of weird. Like, when you translate them, like you do it in order, like note one, note two, note three, you really
Yeah,
get
yeah.
no sense of what's happening. So I'm really, so what I can tell you is that from the sense I got is there's a feather that you need for something. It's not clear what. Um, Eventually you start finding like perfect replicas of the people, statues. Maybe it's the people turns to stone or not. It's not clear. And the stone griffins actually become animated.
Oh,
Yeah. So if I go through the notes in order, I'm just going to read the more interesting ones.
sure.
Okay. Uh, so note four is you see a metamorphosed Leonidas. It is now a feathered bird, which makes no more sense in English than it does in French, but there you go. Note
Well, as
six.
opposed to a non-feathered
Yeah,
bird.
exactly. Like I said, it doesn't make a lot of sense there. Um, Note six is a stone griffin arrives. Your griffin, in quotes. He repels the attackers, and this during the entire night. If you have read 124, go to 78. But again, if you haven't read 124, where do you go? It doesn't say. Note 8 is you fall and die, which I assume is when you're climbing the mountain.
Jesus,
Uh,
okay.
yeah. Uh, yeah, see, everything is quiet. You see a stone statue of a bedridden Anselm. Uh, so clearly you're finding statues of people, you
In their
know,
incredible likeness.
yeah,
Oh, the poses are so realistic.
yeah. Thanks to the spyglass, you see Rollman in danger if you rush to his aid. Otherwise, you know. We've read the worrisome noises in the basement that are maybe rats. Uh, Enough to change your bone marrow into carrot juice.
Hmm.
A sound of stones falling behind you, then everything is quiet. Asan claims he saw a stone griffin.
You
We
read
saw
that
the
one before.
gigantic bird. Um, Suddenly, the stone griffin throws itself on you and strangles you. If you've read 105, go to 162, otherwise 97. So clearly, sometimes the griffins defend you and sometimes they attack you. It's not clear what triggers what. Um, what else? I'm trying to go to notes that we haven't read. Oh yeah,
Mhm.
at some point, like something's happening in the lake and you can dive in the water. Uh, which
'Cause
allows you
that's
to
always a good idea.
rescue somebody who seems to have Martha, who seems to have been drowning. Uh,
How the fuck did she get out there?
I don't know. Back in the workshop. Note 44 is back in the workshop. You see a Quarterman sledgehammer. You can take it with you or leave it there.
Sledgehammer, I need that.
Yeah. Uh, the innkeeper loses his temper. He worries about the disappearance of Sebastien, and the absence of door handles doesn't help. Yeah. The shed door is your only help, but the door handle is missing. Dot dot
No!
dot.
The world's
Yeah.
shortest horror story. No!
Yeah. Yeah. One, two. Yeah, it's got like 12 words. Have you ever seen those 6-word stories?
No.
No. So I don't know if he invented it or not, but like probably the most famous one was written by Hemingway, and it is baby shoes for sale, never used.
Aw.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's so many like what happened, and it could be something super tragic, it could just be, well, you know, I had a fight with the parents and there was a gift and I'm not giving it to them, so I'm selling them, you know. It could be so many things and it's 6 words and it implies and it gets your imagination going like
Well,
crazy and
so I can tell you the world's shortest horror story.
uh-huh.
You may have already heard it. The last man alive on Earth was alone in a room.
Yeah.
There was a knock at the door.
Mhm. There's a really good science fiction story that starts with that. Uh,
Oh, seriously?
yeah. I mean that's an old one, you know, like The Last Man on Earth, blah blah blah. And this one writer, he wrote, and then it's what happens, you know.
Interesting. Someone actually took it and ran with it.
Yeah, exactly. Um, Note 50 in H, which is H is what again?
There!
What?
Sophie says, shortest horror tale. People exist.
Yeah, well. Oh yeah, in his workshop, Anselm is absent. The stone statues are covered with a putrid moss. You see a tapestry moving on the wall. If you lift it up, go to 170. If you leave, go to 191. So that's the kind of note that's, like, what's that about, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, oh yeah, once you climb the mountain, you see a stone throne and 13 gigantic rings. Um, you know, uh,
Huh.
seeing the valley is difficult as a sea of cloud covers it.
See, that sounds interesting. How come we couldn't get
Yeah,
there?
exactly. Uh, ah, it is the positivists. They're going towards F. If you wait for them, go to 65. Otherwise, go to 138. So F being the dock. So clearly the positivists want to go to their island. Um, there's a couple of details too in the introduction, like, the mother's doctor's bill never shows up again. I can tell you that much, you know. Um, okay, so if you attempt to stop Anselm, when he's running after the expedition, by calling out to him, you cause him quite a fright. He stumbles. After a few curses aimed at you, he tells you he's going to attempt to climb K with the rest of the group and then goes on his way. So I think after that, he still gets turned away and comes back to you. It's a very disappointing one so far. There's a really weird one is you see Ferdinand, his head in a gap in the stone wall, and Augusta reaching into the oven. They are both made of stone. Ferdinand still holds his spyglass, which you may take. I mean, like what can we get to there? Um, I feel longer entries rather than making you follow a trail of several would have been more interesting. Yeah, well. So at this point, what I could do is like, oh, when did you drop off? I'm sorry.
Really, like
Oh,
2 months ago, then I got
okay,
attacked by a microwave mimic.
okay. So yeah, I was gonna say having longer entries would have helped this one. It wouldn't feel like you're just reading note after note without a choice. And I was gonna say is I feel like if you're gonna take inspiration from a book, um, don't try to do anything having to do with the narration of it. You know what I mean? Uh,
Mhm.
like if I write a scenario and it happens very often that I'm inspired by a story I read, all I try to do is take the physical setting or maybe a triggering event, you know? Like in
Mhm.
this case,
Mhm.
like, oh, your father died, your father is dead and you finally found a buyer for the house and you have to go pick up some papers, that's fine. But then everything else shouldn't even try to follow the story of the book.
Yeah, it should be like a different take on it, basically. Really.
Yeah, exactly. Like to do the one thing, like if you want to do the Lord of the Rings, you don't try to do the story of the Lord of the Rings. You use the setting of Middle Earth to have different adventures in it, right?
And
You
then you
know,
do simply walk into Mordor.
no, but you know what I mean, though.
No,
I
no, I
think
get it.
it's
I totally get it.
there's a big difference, I think, between you're the group of people who has to take the ring and blah blah blah
Well,
versus
there's being inspired by something, and then there's like, sticking too much to the source material to allow yourself to actually
exactly.
do your own thing.
Exactly. And that's no players like that, and I think that's why we're not really going for this one.
It's a bit of a shame because I want to like it.
Yeah, me too. I mean, in spite of the woo woo new age woo woo stuff, there was some good potential here. I kind of like the idea of like whatever is happening, like people are turning into statues and there's these stone griffins that move around, and are they the cause of that or not?
Mhm.
It'd be kind of interesting to figure out.
Are there any more after this? There
There's a
can't be
couple
many
more.
left now.
There can't be that many left. You're right. Let me check. got to open up the directory with all
Because we've
the.
done, I want to say we've done at least 20, maybe more.
I'm not sure how many we've done. Okay,
Can I have a
Jeux,
quick check?
Stratégie. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is 16, 17? Is it? Yeah, it's 17. So close to 20. Um, there's at least two more. There was one which we didn't do because they had uh uh it felt very complicated, but I think I'm more willing to try it at this point because we have more experience.
17, yeah, you're right.
You know. Um, but I see there's at least one, two, there's two more, and I've got a couple other things highlighted, um, which I'm not sure. It either means there's a maze or there's a potential for something. Let me quickly look. They have a bunch of war games, which we've talked about trying to play at some point with John when he has a bit of time, but he's been
Yes, that
very
would be fun.
busy, and that would be
Well,
fun.
hopefully his new employees at work, will behave, and then they'll take on more shifts, and then should free
Yeah,
up some time.
exactly. And then
Schedule.
we can arrange for some time.
Plus, as far as I know, I'm not sure, if their Monday night group that they do in person is like doing
Yeah,
anything at the moment.
yeah. There's
I
been
think
a
they're
lot of
between
changes,
campaigns,
so
between
that might
adventures.
be a good
So,
time. So for anyone who's listening in, there are some war games that were published in Jeux Stratégie. In fact, a lot of them were, and they're varied settings. And we thought it might be fun to play it. However, if we're going to play it online, it's probably better for there to be two players, and I will act as a referee and manage the game because it's a lot more difficult online, I think, than to track the rules and the what's happening on the maps and all of that. So that's what we decided to do. We just
it'll
have to
be
like schedule time for everyone to be able to do it.
Nabri's army versus De Vere's army.
Yeah. So there is a choose your own adventure, which is you know, they bill it as a solo adventure. So you know, like those solo modules for D&D or any other solo games. So that could be interesting to try. There's no actual map because
Uh-huh.
there is a map, but it's the kind of map you see, where there's a town here, there's this there, there's that there, and
Yeah.
you read the entries for. So that could be interesting. I flagged it as a potential adventure. It's not part of the other two, and it was. It seems to have been written by somebody else. It clearly the drawings aren't in the same style as Philippe Facier's. It's also a lot more text to translate. I've got one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8, 9. I'd have 10 pages of text to translate. So I'll
Bloody
I'll
hell.
see. Yeah. I mean, to give you an idea, it takes me quite a bit of time to translate these, and like this one was about 2 pages of text, a little
Yeah, they
bit more
usually
than
are about 1 or 2 pages, aren't they?
yeah. Because the thing is that a lot of them it's 3 or 4 pages, but at least 1 or 2 pages are taken up by the maze,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. I'm like,
So
who give this guy that much real estate to write that much?
yeah, exactly. But I think it's because it's a solo RPG and it's the later there was clearly a change in directions in later issues, like the art direction changed and the I think the focus on they changed the focus on for certain things to some oh, I'm sorry, to other stuff, you know. The there's a lot less there's a lot more coverage of reviews of games and stuff and a lot less of uh mazes and built-in games. There still are some, but
They
they're not
started to
as
get a
prevalent.
little bit more like commercialized.
I guess, yeah, and a lot less. You know, there's still some puzzles and all that, but um, you know, the other thing we could do is I could compile a bunch of just regular mazes that you try to, you know, find your way out, because some of them are really challenging and others are really beautiful. So, um, it's yeah, they spent a lot more time, I find, a lot
I
less
think what
space
would be
is
fun.
given to yeah,
I think what would be fun, and you tell me if you concur, but like after we're done with all these, like just doing like
yeah,
a review stream where we go through and look at all these
yeah.
mazes and like
Absolutely,
reminisce.
yeah.
And,
We totally should do it. So we have two to go, and then we can do a review of the Philippe Fassier uh, mazes because
it'll be
they're
nice to
quite
just do
unique in
like
their
a
own.
yeah, be nice to do a
Yeah,
recap and just like
yeah,
say
and
what we liked, what we didn't
what?
like, what worked, what didn't work.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, hopefully, inspire some people to write their own and draw their own. I'm
See which mazes look the coolest.
yeah, totally. We should totally do that. Um, yeah, we'll do that, and I think. Uh, yeah, I think since this one kind of was a bit of a bummer, as Nosorian mentioned, we might call this stream now rather than stretch it out for nothing. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds like a
Yeah.
plan.
Okay. So thanks, people, for listening in. I know this one was a little bit disappointing, but it had its a few moments. Um, and we'll see you all next time. It'll be a little while because we've got Clericon coming up, and I believe both of us will be spending quite a bit of time prepping for that, uh, and then trying to recover from the whole thing. So, but hopefully, we'll have something for you in the not too distant future.
I hope so.
Take care, everyone.
Cheers, all.
Goodbye.
Have a good one.